Can I hold it like that?
You go like that.
Just sink it.
Just sink it.
The old school way.
Old school way. Hi, I'm Izzaz Azhar. We're in Mama Travel Club studio. And together with me, I've got a special guest, Mr. Zach Yusuf, who played guitar with me just now. And Mr. Zach works for The Star, but he's also got his own band, his own indie band, am I right?
Yep, correct.
And they've been all the way, they've toured in England, they've been all around the world, I think.
Yeah, we will. Thailand, Singapore.
That's all around the world, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And their track has been on Hits FM and it was at the top for 14 weeks.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Zach, thanks for coming over.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
So tell me a bit about yourself. How did you get into music?
Well, you know, like all kids, I got hooked when I started buying. I used to be a mad collector of music, I still am. And it all started with the old 7-inch singles. I know a lot of kids these days buy MP3s, but I started off buying vinyl. And as a kid, I used to save my pocket money and buy singles every week. You know, I look at the charts. It was very important to me. And from about the age of 12, I decided to pick up the guitar, self-taught completely. And you know, fast forward 30 years, and I'm still playing guitar now. So yeah, that's how it started. Very organic. Just as a love of pop music.
The love of music.
Yeah.
The song just now was completely made up on the spot. It was improvised.
There
were no rehearsals.
Yeah.
The lyrics were improvised as well.
Yeah.
The genius of Zach.
Oh, you know, that's a beauty thing about blues, right? It's expression and feel music. You know, I mean, I can barely play the blues, but it doesn't really matter if you feel the music, right?
It's all about the feel, guys.
Yeah.
It's all about the feel.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about your band.
Well, my band are called Three Deserters, and we have been going. We set up the band in 2006. I set it up when I came back here, and I wrote some songs. And you know, once you write songs, you want to see how it's performed by a bunch of guys. And once you get that together, then the next step would be, oh, I wonder how it'd be if we played a few gigs. And next thing you know, we were a proper band, and we kept on getting booked for gigs. And yeah, it's something I've been doing since I was a kid. You know, 16 was my first band, so it was very natural to me. And once I got hooked, I'm all in, you know. So the band's we're completely independent. You know, we finance our own records, our own tours, which is how most bands do it these days anyway. You know, who signs to a major record label anymore?
Yeah, it's all done indie.
Yeah.
It's all on the back of the house, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, it's
and you
a
get
passion.
more creative control.
You have more creative control. I mean, there are perks to being signed to a record company because they handle your marketing and they can really push your records out there. But the industry's changed so much, you know, with the internet. I mean, you find a lot of bands just bypassing the whole signing contracts and major labels and doing it themselves. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Especially for an indie band, it's not easy to break through, is it?
It's not easy at all, you know.
There are a lot of bands out there, aren't they?
Man, musicians are, I would say, 40% musician, 60% hustler. That's what it takes to be a successful musician. You know, it's not a case of just, oh, I play guitar and I write songs, I'm going to be famous. I mean, that's just a small part of it. The big part of it is hustling. You know, meeting the right people, getting your contacts, being driven to get your music out there to the right people. And it's sad to say, but it really is down to who you know in this business. You know, the more people you know that can help you, the better.
The better it is for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned once that you were in England and you got seriously into music and you actually joined a punk rock band, was it?
Correct.
In England. Tell me about your experience.
Yeah. You know, I was going to go to school and I'd finished my A-levels, and it was a case of go to university or join this punk band, you know, which, I mean, I was a bit too young for punk, but my era is post-punk, which is all the good stuff that come after punk. Punk is a really important movement in my era because it really opened the door for musicians like me, self-taught guys, punk rockers like the Pistols and the Clash. They showed us that, you know, you could form a band. You didn't have to go to Berkeley. You didn't have to be a trained musician, and you could do it, you know, if you had the passion and the feel. So it was really a very important moment for me because I realized that I could do it, you know. So once I got a chance to move to London and join this band, I grabbed it with both hands. Yeah. So the band didn't work out, but by that time I was in London, I set up my own band, so we were ready to go. Yeah.
Oh, amazing! You've been everywhere, haven't you?
Well,
how long have you been in music?
I started music when I was 16. I joined my first real band when I was 17. So I'm in my 40s now.
Only 40?
Yeah, rock and roll,
rock and roll forever.
It keeps you young. It keeps you young. Yeah, but like the main thing is, you know, punk rock. Without punk rock, I think I might not have gone down this path, because back in the 70s and prior to punk, you know, you got these prog rock bands that were playing 17-minute songs, and they were like virtuosos. And when I used to look at bands like, you know, Gong and all those prog rock bands, Rick Wakeman, Rush, I mean, who can play like Neil Peart, right? I mean, it was such a daunting task. I used to think musicians were like aliens from the sky, you know. They weren't normal people. And then the Clash and the Pistols, they came along and they were just normal kids, you know. And they weren't brilliant musicians, but their expression and feeling had something to say. So it was really important to me. I realized then I could do it. Yeah.
That's what really made people appeal to them, because you see this bunch of kids playing music.
Yeah. You know, in musical, it's a cyclical thing, right? In music trends, they come and go in cycles, and I think the whole prog rock thing of being virtual musicians, it reached a tipping point where the kids, they were so far removed from the normal kids on the street. Something had to give. I mean, music, predominantly music scenes and trends, are invented by kids on the street. I think we lose touch with that. You get a situation like you did in the 70s where there was these really self-indulgent, boring music. I mean, who wants to listen to a guy play a drum solo for 10 minutes? You know, I couldn't think of anything more boring than that, you know. I liked punk because it was like immediate songs that hit you right there, you know. It was hard to explain, but yeah, it was totally... I connected with it, you know. The 17-minute guitar solo things was never me. To this day, I'm not a shredder, you know. Yeah, I like songs, man.
I like songs.
Yeah.
I like music.
Melody is key. Yeah.
Zach is also part of the Star newspaper, and he does a lot of reports on music, and you've been all over the scene. You cover music basically for the Star, don't you?
Yeah, it's a big part of my brief at the Star, you know. I mean, I feel that I was in a position to help the music scene. I say help, but really I mean, you know, just giving some exposure. And as a journalist, I mean, that is our job. So I was more than happy to cover the good bands around. And Malaysia has a lot of great bands, you know. There's a really strong independent scene here. It's still young, but it's definitely growing. I mean, I'm happy to see that there are more local promoters. In order for a scene to grow, I mean, we can sit here and bitch about like, oh, Malaysia's music scene sucks and there's nothing going on. But it really takes young people, much younger than me, to create shows and build something. And if you build it, then it grows.
That's correct.
So I'm really happy when I see some young promoters putting on their own shows, you know, because no one's going to help you if you don't help yourself. Yeah, that's rock and roll, man.
Tell me a bit about your program called Make Some Noise at the Star.
Yeah. So we got a live music show called Make Some Noise, and the brief is very simple. I wanted to record live music in our studio at the Menara Star, and I also wanted to highlight a lot of the local talents that we have here. The only condition to be on this show is that you play original music. You know, we don't feature covers bands. I think they get enough gigs. The ones that I'm interested in are the kids that create their own art. Yeah. So if you're in that type of band, let me know and I'll stick you on the show.
Give you a ring.
Yeah. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zach Yusof of the Star, but also of Free Deserters.
Correct.
Thanks for joining me on Mama Travel Club Studio. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for the song and thanks for jamming with us.
Yeah, could I just say you can get in touch with Free Deserters and find out about music. Just come on our Facebook page.
Like that page.
Yeah, like our page, facebook.com/Free Deserters. We also got our website, freedeserters.com. Come and like us and we'll like you back.
We'll like you back. Izzaz Asaf from Mama Travel Club Studio.